Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello, my name is Dr. Himanshu Tyagi and I am teaching this course on heat and mass transfer. Let us look at the radiative heat transfer topic we were looking at last time and we will continue from there. Before we start, let us do a brief recap of what we have done last time, which was part 1 of the radiation heat transfer between surfaces. So, we had looked at certain figures, these I will come back over here again. The main thing that we did last time, we have looked at the concept of the view factor, which is represented by symbol F, and for any two surfaces we can call that particular view factor as Fij if we are talking about surface I and surface j. So, by definition we have looked at Fij stands for the fraction of radiation leaving that surface I which strikes surface j directly. Then we evolved that particular expression by using this particular ratio over here. So, this is the essential definition of Fij, or in our case we have calculated it for surface 1 to 2. So, we have looked at F12 and where very nicely this equation has turned out to be, although it is kind of long complicated double integral equation, but later on we figured out when we are looking at relations between view factors that it has turned out to be very simple. For example, as shown in green color over here, this particular relationship is very simple and straightforward and is known as the reciprocity relation. We looked at different type of relation and of course, reciprocity was the first relation that we looked at, which simply gives A1 F12 is equals to A2 F21. So, in other words, surface 1 and 2 are reciprocal to one another, they are reciprocating equally to one another. Then we looked at the summation rule, which gives the sum of all the view factors from surface 1 up till surface n, provided it forms an enclosure. So, in this particular case A over here, these three surfaces 1, 2 and 3 form an enclosure. In case B, the same three surfaces which are given in black color, surface 1, 2 and 3 did not form an enclosure until we put these green surfaces in between them. So, we added 3 more surfaces 4, 5 and 6. So, these are imaginary surface because in reality we only have 3 solid surfaces 1, 2 and 3, but in between them we put that imaginary line in order to make the whole thing an enclosure. Once it becomes an enclosure, then we can apply this summation rule and now we can write from surface 1 to surface 6 that Fii all of these 6 terms will be equal to 1. And I think we solved some questions based on that as well, and today also we will try and solve few solved example in order to understand it better. Then we looked at case 3, which is the superposition rule, then case 4 the symmetry rule. So, I think today we will start with the symmetry rule and try and see one simple solved example for this isosceles triangle and try and see what results do we get for the case over here. F12 value we will calculate and then F23 value we will also calculate over here. Before we ended the lecture last time, I highlighted the different difficulties in using some complicated geometries over here, and for that I had mentioned that very quickly we will look at these figures. So, these figures and tables we will look in much more detail today. So, for 2 parallel plates like it is given over here, we will look at that, then 2 discs also we can consider, and for all these things previous literature in the form of some technical books, they contain these type of figures and tables. So, we will look at them in much more detail today. So, I will come back to that in a little while, but first I want to do a solved example which is for the simple isosceles triangle case. So that the students become familiar with concept of applying all these type of relations. So, let me first draw the 3 surfaces over here. So, the way I have drawn it is this is surface 1 at the bottom, this line is surface 2, this line is surface 3, and intentionally I have drawn it in such a way that 2 and 3 show symmetry with one another. So, there is symmetry between 2 and 3, and we can assume some length over here as well. So, let me say this is 4 centimeters length, this particular triangle, and this both of them are having the length 8 centimeters each. So, this is a solved example where we want to find out the values for all the view factors we want to find out. So, in this particular case the number of bodies is 3. So, total number of view factors will be 3 square, because if we have n bodies then we usually have n square view factors. So, here we should have 9 view factors. So, let me go ahead and write all 9 of them, and then we will find the values for them very soon. So, if I start with these 9 factors, I want to find out value of f11, I want to find out f12, f13, f21, f22 and f23, then f31, f32, f33. So, these are the 9 unknowns, and out of them very quickly I will write very simple ones, which are the trivial ones. So, I think I will ask the student what, because these are flat surfaces, then f11 value directly becomes 0, f22 also becomes 0, and f33 also becomes 0. So, these 3 I will write immediately. Now, I have to find only these 6 values over here, and I am going to use the summation rule, reciprocity, superposition, all those possibilities which are there over here. So, let me go ahead and write the summation rule for surface number 1. Then I can write very quickly. Summation rule tells that the enclosure formed with surface 1, 2 and 3, the total value will be 1. I also know this value equals to 0. So, the first term goes out. Now, because of symmetry rule, I can apply the symmetry rule, tells me that if surface 2 and 3 are symmetrical around 1, then immediately I can write f12 equals to f23, which means what I get from the blue equation over there is f12 equals to 1, which means f12 is 0.5, and that is also equal to f13. So, there is this is 13, f12 equals to f13, and both are equal to 0.5, f12 is equal to f12. So, let me take orange color and highlight one point which I think students will benefit from this discussion. I have made a orange enclosure over here. So, let us pause very quickly and then realize, try and understand what do these 3 values tell me. So, the first value over here tells me f11 is 0. That is okay, because surface 1 is a flat surface. So, nothing is coming back and hitting it directly, that makes sense. f12 is half and f13 is half. What does that tell me? That whatever is leaving surface 1, if the other 2 surfaces are symmetrical around it, then it is treating them both equally. So, half of it is going and hitting surface 2, half of it is going and hitting surface 3, and that would have taken place even if surface 2 and 3 would be irregularly shaped. As long as they are both symmetrical like this, if this was surface 2, this is surface 3, even then view factor from 1 would be half here and half here. This is a very interesting thing. So, it did not be this flat surface, it can be even the uneven surface also. As long as it is symmetrical around 1, then f12, f13 both are half. So, I think 3 values we have found. Now, let me write the relationship for surface 2. So, this was for surface 1, let me write for surface 2. So, here I get f21, f22, f23 is equals to 1, and I already know f22 equals to 0, because it is a flat surface. Okay. Now, which of these should I solve for? I think I can give one hint over here, that f21 value also I can know. How? Maybe I can apply the reciprocity rule between surface 1 and surface 2. So, if I apply the reciprocity rule, then what do I get? I can directly write A1 F12 is equals to A2 F21. Because please remember, we are interested in finding out value of F21 from here. So, from here I can get F21 is simply A1 by A2 into F12, and F12 value I already have from here, which is half. So, this is the relationship of area 1 which is proportional to 4, area 2 which is proportional to 8 centimeter multiplied by half. So, I should write 0.5. So, essentially this whole thing will give me 0.25. So, that I can go and write over here, this is 0.25. And very interestingly, now I can write the value of F23 also, because if this is 0.25, this was 0, then it directly gives me F23 is 0.75, which I can go and write over there. So, this is 0. I will use another color, 0.75. So, this one also I know, this one and this one as well. Is it making sense? And similarly, we can get the same thing from here. F32 will turn out to be exactly same as F23, and I can write 0.75. How do I know this thing? Because in surface 3, I can apply directly reciprocity. So, I can say A2 F23 is equals to A3 F32, and by looking at the image, I can say A1, A2 and A3 are equal. So, they get cancelled, which means F2 is equal to F3, they are equal. And if this is 0.75, this is 0, then all the three sums have to be equal to 1, which means by summation rule I have F31, F32 plus F33 equals to 0. This value is 0, this value is 0.75. So, it automatically turns out F31 is 25. So, I can write it over here. So, it is a simple problem. I took little bit long to solve it, just so that I wanted to show the whole picture and solve it completely, which means that even if it was not 3 body, it was a 4 body enclosure, as long as I know its dimensions, I am able to figure out what are the different view factors, which means let us try and do that kind of a problem. So, I thought of this particular problem over here, and let us treat it as a solved example and try and see what are the values of these two particular variables in this particular case. So, what you see is a diagram of a cube having equal sides. So, this is a cube of equal sides. In real life, for radiation problem, this could be a furnace which is having these 6 sides. Some of the surfaces could be made of metal, some could be made of ceramic, some could be made of brick, which means their emissivity values may be different. Some places we are supplying heat, some places we can keep adiabatic also, which means later on we will figure out even boundary conditions may be different. Now, for simplicity, we are keeping all the sides equal as it is in the cube, and all we need to find out is the value of F12 and F13, and I will explain the reason in just a minute. So, which is surface 1? The bottom surface I am taking as surface 1. So, this part in the blue, this is the bottom surface, this is the important part for me. So, this is surface number 1. One of the side surfaces which I can show in green over here, this I am taking as surface number 2, and the top surface which I can show in yellow over here, that is my surface number 3. This is the top surface. So, essentially I am finding out F12 which is from bottom to side, F13 bottom to top. Why am I not finding F14, 5 and 6? Because immediately students can tell me that sir, F12 is equals to F14 is equals to F15 is equals to F16, because in a cube I can apply symmetry rule, which means these 4 rules are actually very useful for us. So, even without solving the problem, just by looking at it, I can tell that the bottom surface, whatever relationship it has of with one side, because all 4 sides are symmetrical, which means from surface 2, 4, 5 and 6, that is how it is numbered in this particular problem. the view factor from 1 will be equal. So, I can say all of them are equal. And I can also write the summation rule for surface number 1. So, let me write it over here, that for surface 1, what does the summation rule tell me? F11, F12, F13, F14, F15, F16 total has to be equal to 1. And all these equal to, maybe I will put as a constant C over here. Now, let me simplify this summation rule equation. Although it looks very long, I will just make it very short in just a little while. The first term will be 0. Why? Because it is a flat surface. Second term over here is equals to C, this constant C over here. Third term F12, that I have to figure out. So, it is unknown. This thing is equals to C, this thing is equals to C, this thing is equals to C. So, all I get over here 3 plus 4C is equals to 1. So, see how simple equation has become over here, very simple equation. Now, there are two unknowns over here. C is also not known to me, F13 is not known to me. So, I want to ask students, how will we solve this particular problem? Because we have only one equation and two unknown. So, how will I solve it? So, here I will take help of either the figures or tables. So, let me go back a few slides. Now, we will look at that table in more detail that I had talked about in the beginning of today's class and also little bit in last class. So, now we can recognize over here that this is the problem that we want to tackle. This is the exact, I am circling it in green color. This is the exact problem that we want to tackle, and over here this whatever ij is value we will obtain, that will be equal to F13, because in our example bottom surface we have called bottom surface as surface 1 and the top surface we have called surface number 3. So, let us try and analyze how do we use this particular graph. So, in this graph we can see on the x axis there is the ratio x by L, which is this parameter over here, this is x, and L is the distance which it separates. So, if I am assuming the cube, in my case this relationship will be value equal to 1. This is the side of the cube divided by height of the cube. So, this is very simple. What is this variable over here? L y by L, that is another side of the cube. Maybe I will use another color over here. Let me pick blue color. So, this is y and divided by the height over here. So, in my case this value is also equal to 1, which means what I want to do now is I want to move along two lines. One line will be this x by L equals to 0, which I will show in the green color over here. So, I am moving in this direction, x by L equals to 0. Up till that point I am moving up till that point where my y by L is also 0. So, I am moving along these directions also, just like in our atlas the longitude and latitude wherever they collide, that is the location. GPS also uses that location. So, over here we have collided at that point. Let me make it a red dot over here. So, this is the red dot. So, I will read out the value from here. So, now I move in this particular direction and the value I am getting is very close to 0.2. So, the answer that I have found out is in our problem F13 is the value very close to 0.2, because this is a graph that I am reading, there will always be small error 2-3% here and here. So, let us go back to our problem, and now out of the two unknowns, one value I can clearly write is F13 is 0.2. Okay. So, I can write it over here also, this value is simply 0.2. Now, in this equation I can solve for C. So, C turns out to be 1 minus F13 simply divided by 4. How did I get it? I am just rewriting this equation from here to here. Now, I substitute in the value, I get this, and this also turns out to be 0.2, is not it very interesting? And what was my C value? C value was equal to F12 is equals to F14 is equals to F15 equals to F16, which means inside a cube, it seems very approximate answer gives me that all the view factors from one side to another side, all of them are having 0.2 value. It is kind of like 20%. So, if I am sitting on the bottom of the cube, the top surface view factor is 20%, left surface and back all are 20%. I add it 5 times, I get 100%, which is view factor equals to 1. So, I think with the help of this example, we have tried to analyze for a simple geometry, but still we are using that particular graph and table. And in the next example that we have already solved over here, isosceles triangle, we did not make any use of graph and table. So, with this understanding, I think we have learnt it very strongly, very nicely, that what is the concept of view factor. And now let us apply in radiative heat transfer. So, I will consider in radiative heat transfer two cases. Radiative heat transfer in between surfaces. So, one case will be very simple, that we will start with today, because whenever we are learning something new, we will start with simply black surfaces, and then we will move on to grey diffuse surfaces. So, today we will start with black surfaces. What is a black surface? So, any surface which behaves like a black body is a black surface, and we are looking at minimum two surfaces over here. So, I can make this is surface 1, and let us say some orientation I will change over here. This is surface number 2. So, their properties I am knowing, which means this area I know A1, its temperature I know is T1, this area I know is A2, its temperature I know is T2. I can put some numbers also, maybe this is 10 centimeter square, this temperature is 600 Kelvin. This area maybe is double, 20 centimeter square, this temperature may be 500 Kelvin. Okay? And I know the distance between them, all the things that are to be known I know between them. So, if I draw this particular line over here, I know the radius, I know their orientation. So, this theta 1, theta 2 values I know, and what is the unknown over here, or as an engineer what I want to find out is the net rate of heat transfer over here, q dot net. So, mathematically I will write q dot net as this particular representation, and this we will use in these topics throughout. So, q dot 1 to 2. So, this is from 1 surface 1 to surface 2. What is the net rate at which heat is being exchanged between surface 1 and surface 2? Is it same as q dot 2 1, which means if one surface is giving out net energy 60 watts to the other surface, which means other surface is receiving net 60 watts from first surface. So, it will just be equal with a minus sign, which means I can write it clearly over here, q dot 1 to 2 is equals to minus q dot 2 to 1. In this example, clearly surface 1 is hotter. How do I know? This is 600 Kelvin, this is 500 Kelvin. I am just putting some number. So, do not believe this number right now, just to illustrate some point I am putting some number over here, and then when we will calculate q dot 2 to 1, it will turn out to be minus 40 watt. So, I will intentionally put plus and minus before every number from now onward, because when we put the number plus or minus, we will immediately realize this plus or minus sign over here will tell us if effectively a body is losing heat or effectively a body is gaining heat. And why is it important? Because very soon we will have multiple enclosures over here, multiple surfaces. So, let me quickly go over here. You do not have to remember any of these numbers, but students may figure out that this is useful technique over here, 800 Kelvin. So, let us say these are 4 surfaces which are not in contact with one another. There is gap also in between, gap here, gap here, gap here, gap here, and this surface is, let us say, surface 3 and 4. So, by keeping track of these signs, we will be able to figure out ultimately where to put the heater, because somewhere we will be giving the energy. So, over there it looks like the hottest surface is 2000 Kelvin, we may have to give a heater over there, then some heat will travel here, some will travel here, some will travel there. Then from this surface also some may come here, because 800 gives to 300, from here to here also 800 will also give to 600, and finally 600 will also give to 300 also. I hope you are not getting confused by all these arrows. Very soon we will make it very simple, but right now why I made this complicated, just to illustrate to you that what level of complexity we will be able to solve very easily. It will become very easy. The only thing we have to promise is we have to keep track of all the positive and negative signs. So, with that we continue our analysis of black surfaces over here, and we have defined this q dot 1 to 2. The net rate of heat transfer, how we have defined, we will write it in words. It says net rate of radiative, I will write it in abbreviation. So, RAD means radiation heat transfer from surface 1 to surface 2, which means I can write it as the difference of two terms. So, I can write it, it is radiation which is going from surface 1 to surface 2 minus what is coming radiation from surface 2 to surface 1, which means if the final answer is 40 watts, like we have on the previous slide we have given over there, right, 40 watts. I will put a plus sign over here. It may so happen that it is the subtraction of two terms over here, because it is not, never it is told that the lower temperature surface cannot radiate to higher temperature. It is possible, even earth may radiate something toward the sun. Effectively what we are getting from sun is a million billion times higher than what it is, but even still earth, because of its temperature, is also radiating towards sun, not only in the sun direction, towards all planet, all the bodies, in all the 4 pi solid angle direction sun is radiating. Sorry, earth is also radiating, which means that small amount will come in second bracket, big amount. Why am I calling big amount? Because higher temperature body, when it radiates to the lower temperature body, that value is going to be very high. So, that difference that we will get over here is 40 watt. Is this point clear? Now, we can write it in expression terms also, which I will write over there. So, forget this for the moment, you do not need to remember, but the expressions we need to remember. So, I will write from here and here. So, what is the first term? Radiation from surface 1 to surface 2. So, surface 1, if I know the area, let me draw it over here. If this is surface 1, area is A1, temperature is T1, this is surface 2 over here, area is A2, temperature is T2, and I want to write it in the subtraction of two terms. Let us forget the second term. So, this second term let us forget for now, just temporarily we are forgetting, we are focusing on the first term. So, what was the first term? I am highlighting here, radiation from surface 1 to surface 2, which means I am looking at this particular radiation, the blue one, from all of this, but I am not looking at the red radiation from here, because red is the one which is going everywhere else. Now, this diagram immediately tells me it is a problem of the view factor. How? It is simply the total emission q dot 1 multiplied by F12. You remember in the beginning of previous lecture, I think students remember this thing, in the beginning of previous lecture, let us go to video mode. In the beginning of previous lecture, we have defined F12 as how? That fraction of radiation which is emitted from body 1 directly hitting body 2 divided by q dot 1, right. Now, I will erase this particular point, which is simply this F12 into q dot 1. And what is q dot 1? Let me explain it a little bit further. It is the total for black body, it is total emissive power multiplied by area. This whole thing is q dot 1, this part. It is simply, so the first bracket is simply q dot 1, which is EB1 into A1 multiplied by F12. Second bracket exactly same in the reverse, which means it will be F21, it will be F21 multiplied by q dot 2, and q dot 2 will be EB2 into A2, where this part is simply q dot 2. I'll do it slowly over here, so that students may understand. So, I will remove this cross and this thing. So, from here we go over here. Now, one more interesting thing will come, that I will write maybe in blue color over here, that can I apply reciprocity rule between surface 1, surface 2? Answer is yes, I can apply it. I will get this relation over here, which I am seeing, I can show in blue color over here. This is the first reciprocity rule, second, which means I can take the whole thing outside, it is same. All I will be getting is EB1 minus EB2. And what is there on the left side? Q dot 1 to 2 net. So, this is my relationship over here. Can I further simplify it? Answer is again yes. You remember, for black body, EB1 is what? It is simply Boltzmann law, sigma T1 to the power 4. What is EB2? Sigma T to the power 4. Now, I have solved the whole thing. So, what I wanted was this blue term on the left hand side over here, q dot 1 2. Q dot 1 2 is not the net radiation, which is the radiation which is going from 1 to 2. It is the net from 1 to 2 minus 2 to 1. What I am able to project on surface 2, how much heat I am giving over there, minus how much heat I am receiving from there. So, do not get confused between the two different notations. So, this I will complete on next slide. So, the q dot 1 2, which I will write as q dot net between surface 1 and surface 2, q dot 1 to 2, it simply turned out to be A1 F12 EB1 minus EB2, which is equal to, I can write it in temperature terms now, T1 to the power 4, T to the power 4, this is q dot 1 to 2. And I will not stop here, I will write the reverse also. What is q dot 2 to 1? I can reverse the whole thing. What will I get? A2 F21 sigma T24 minus T14. Are they the same? Answer is yes, they are the same, just with the negative sign, which means q dot 1 to 2 is equals to minus q dot 2 to 1. I hope this concept is clear. I am doing it little bit slowly over here. This is the final result that we got. I will put a red star over here. This is the final result that we have obtained, and this is true for a black surface. Black surfaces 1 and 2. So, there are two surfaces, both are black. They can be any distance apart, they can be any shape. This could be surface 1, this could be surface 2 over here. As all I need to know is their area A1 T1, area A2 temperature T2, and I need to know the view factor F12. If I know these 5 parameters, then I can calculate both the q dots from here. There could be some confusion for students. So, I have prepared one solved example, which I am going to write next over here. So, in that solved example, we will find out the exact numerical value over here. Why? Because whatever values I have chosen over here, these are just random numbers I have told, just for explanation purpose, that you subtract 10 minus 50, you get 40 watt. Now, let us look at the exact value, that how much if I take some sort of a geometry over here. So, the geometry I have chosen is cylindrical geometry. So, let me assume that there is a very big cylindrical heater. It is such a way that it has 3 unique surfaces over here, which I am going to write. Top surface is surface number 1, bottom surface is surface 2, and the side surface is surface number 3. the geometry is such that the radius here is capital R, the height of the container is h, and I know these values are radius I am taking as I think 1 meter, height I am taking as 2 meters. I am assuming all the, so this is a solved example, all the bodies are black, which means I can write emissivity 1, emissivity 2, emissivity 3, all 3 are 1 because they are all black bodies. And I also know the temperatures over here. So, temperature is, this is the hottest on the top, surface 1 is very hot, surface 2 is medium hot, and the lowest temperature is of the side surface over here. Okay. So, maybe I will use my notation. You remember in convection we were using the red color, blue color, that highest temperature I was taking for over here. So, the highest temperature I will use as the red color, surface 1, lowest temperature I will take as blue because relatively speaking this is the coldest part of that this whole problem. And what I need to find? I need to find all the q dots, which means I need to find out q dot 1, q dot 2, q dot 3. Okay. This is the first part. Second part, q dot 1 2, q dot 1 3, q dot 2 1, q dot 2 3, q dot 3 2, q dot 3 1. So, how many there are there? 9 variables I need to find, but student do not need to worry because very soon we will just reduce them to 3 or 4 or 5 very quickly, because many of them will be just pluses and minuses of one another. So, do not worry for now, just keep little patience and try and see how do we solve this particular problem. So, the first step is that we need to calculate in this particular case all the view factors. So, I will write first step, calculate view factors. And what are the view factors I want to find? Again all the 9 view factors I want to find, F11, F12, F13, then F21 all the view factors I want to find. So, let me start with the view factors. Can I write some of the view factors very quickly? So, that maybe I will write over here. So, what is the value of F11, F12, F13, F21, F22, F23, 31, 32, 33. So, this is a real life problem that we are trying to solve, and now the science of this particular view factor becomes important. So, I will ask student quickly help me try and solve the simplest part. So, are there some flat surfaces? I think yes, surface 1 is flat, F11 becomes 0, surface 2 is also flat, F22 becomes 0, surface 3 is not flat, which is why F33 I cannot write as 0. So, I only know the 2 trivial values over here. So, let me first start with the first surface, surface number 1. So, here I can write summation rule F12 plus F13 equals to 0. Now, I do not know any of these values, which means I have to go to the table or rather that graph. So, from graph or from table, from graph can I find the value of F12? Okay. And all I need to remember are these two values. So, R value and H value is known to me. R is 1 meter, H is 2 meter. Let us go to that particular graph where we have looked at in the earlier. Yes, this one we will require, and let me put the dimensions over here. So, in our case R is 1 meter, H is 2 meters, which means what is the value of, in our case, oops, what is the value of L by R1? L is this 2 meters by 1 meter, this value is 2 in our example. What is the value of R by L? R is 1 meter, L is 2 meters. So, this value is 0.5, which means now I will use again 2 colors over here, maybe one is green. I will travel on this green line over here, and I will have to hit another orange line or maybe blue line where this value is half. So, where is this value half? somewhere in between. So, it is little bit tricky because this is 0.4, 0.6, there is no line for 0.5, but I am going to draw it like this, because it is kind of equidistant from both these lines. So, what is the dot that I get in yellow? I can show over here, this particular dot. Let me take it over here. So, maybe this is 0, this is maybe in red I will write. If this is 0, this is 0.1, maybe this is like 0.15, some rough value I am taking, approximate. And this value that I have gotten is which value? So, I think this is F12 from the bottom to the top, Ij, Fij. So, let me remember this value 0.15. Now, we go back to our solved example. Let us go back over here. Where were we? Yes, here. So, here we get F12 value is equals to 0.15. This we have got from the graph. So, I can write over here 0.15. And by symmetry again F21 will also come out to be same. So, that one I can also quickly write over here. Now, the sum for these three has to be same. So, I will get F13. There I make a mistake. Summation says it is not 0, it is 1. So, F13 is F13 minus F12 0.85. So, here I write 0.85. Okay. Then what are the other values I can fill? Then for surface 2 also the sum will turn out to be 1. So, if this is 0.15, this is 0. So, this should be 0.85. 0.85. Now, none of these values I know over here, but using reciprocity very quickly I can find. So, how can I find F31? I can write A3 F31 is equals to A1 F13, and F13 value I know from here, which means F31 I can quickly find is A1 by A3 F13. And what is A1? Pi r square. What is A3? 2 pi r h. And what is F13? 0.85. So, all I need to do is plug in these particular values and I will get the final answer. So, it turns out to be F31 is 0.21. So, I am just trying to show to the students what is the procedure that we will use over here. So, other two also I will write over here because of symmetry. F31 is equals to F32 and the remaining part over here is 0.58. So, I think I have done it very slowly so that students are able to understand what exactly is going on over here. Am I okay with that? Now, let us go to step number 2, where we are going to find all these 9 q dots, and it will be final answer will be very interesting. That is what I am promising to the students. It will be very interesting how we will draw in the diagram form over here that what are the values of q dots. So, let us calculate the values of q dot. Okay. Let us calculate the values of 9 q dots. So, very interesting 9 results we will get over here. So, the first thing that we want to calculate simplest is q dot 1 2 between surface 1 surface 2. So, you remember this was over here surface 1 on top, surface 2 on bottom. All of them are black bodies. So, what was the expression over here? So, A1 F12 sigma T1 to the power 4 T to the power 4. Now, we know all the view factors, we know all the areas, I know the value of sigma which is a constant, I know T1, T2, I can immediately get it. It is the most simple problem. So, what was area A1? It is simply pi r square, that is this area on the top over here. This is area A1. What is F12? If I do not remember, I will go back over here. F12 is given here. That was the reason we have written all the view factors 0.15. So, I will write over there 0.15. What is the value of sigma? 5.67 10 to the power minus 8. It is simply a constant. T1 to the power 4 minus T to the power 4. T1 is given here, T2 is given over here. So, it says 1000 to the power 4 minus 800 to the power 4. R value is given to me as 1 meters. So, I can plug in this particular value. Mathematics I will leave to the students. So, we do the whole thing Important thing is please put the sign over here. Sign is most important. Why? Because here sign is the only thing which is giving me the direction of heat flow. What is this particular term? It says the net rate of heat transfer, net radiative heat transfer between surface 1 and surface 2. And remember, surface 1 is at 1000 Kelvin, surface 2 is at 800 Kelvin, which means we all know from thermodynamics, heat transfer, from all our background, net rate of heat transfer always flows from high surface to low surface. This can give heat to low surface, low can also give heat to high surface, that value will be smaller. So, you remember that example 50 minus 10, we get 40. So, that is the net rate that we are getting over here. So, positive means that the net rate is positive from 1 to 2. Immediately I can write the reverse also, F21 will be minus 15.8 kilowatt. And somebody can challenge me that how do I know it is minus? Then I will say, okay, I am not writing it directly, I am using this expression over here. So, Q dot 21 I will write full, it is A2 F21 sigma T to power 4 T1 to the power 4. Everything else will remain same, it is just that it has become now 800 power 4 minus 1000 to the power 4, which means whatever expression we will get, it has to be a minus sign. So, you do the calculation mathematically, we will get this thing over here. So, Q dot 21 will turn out to be a negative number, and which is what we have already written over here, which means half of those 9 we do not even need to calculate. It will be simply coming out to be very simple and straightforward. Can I write it quickly over here? So, Q dot 12 will be minus Q dot 21. Q dot 13 will be simply minus Q dot 31. Q dot 23 will be simply minus Q dot 32. So, out of those 9, these 6 give me just 3. And what are the remaining 3? Q dot 1 is remaining, Q dot 2 is remaining, and Q dot 3 is remaining. So, we will do it slowly. So, first one we have found. So, the 2 values we have found over here, this is our unknown number star 1 and this is star 2. So, 2 stars we have got, let us get 9 stars before we stop this particular problem. So, next the problem that I want to tackle is between surface 1 and surface 3, which means I want to find out the value of Q dot 13, how much is this, and let me draw that surface again. So, now I am talking about the top surface 1 and the side surface 3, and temperatures we remember top surface was 1000 Kelvin and side surface was how much? 500 Kelvin, which means again I know without solving it, it will turn out to be a positive number. How? Because T1 is greater than T3, and I can show with the expression also, it will turn out to be A1 F13 sigma T1 to the power 4 T3 to the power 4. So, all I need to do is plug in these values. So, A1 again is simply pi r square, F13 was 0.85. How do I know this? Again go back and do it properly over here. So, then F13, that is one lesson I want to share with students. If we do the whole thing very comprehensively, all view factors, all Q dot we write, it may take little extra time when we are doing as assignment or as a homework, but believe me, if you are doing it in real life, there is nothing that will be remaining and everything calculated. So, you will get the most accurate results. 5.67 10 to the power minus 8 T1 1000 to the power 4 minus 500 to the power 4. So, please take a calculator, solve this whole thing, and I think we will get a very big number over here. And I already know why big number, because these two numbers are very different now. It is 1000 to the power 4 minus 500 to the power 4. So, I am subtracting something very small from there. So, I will write this positive number is 141.8 kilowatt. So, this is Q dot 13, and let us compare it with Q dot 12. Q dot 12 was only about 15-16 kilowatt, and here it is almost 9 times higher, 141 kilowatt. This is huge, and this immediately gives me one more number where I can write Q dot 1 is simply Q dot 12 plus Q dot 13, and the sign I have to take care. So, this one I will write then bracket 15.8 plus another plus sign over here. Why am I adding all these plus sign together? So that students are not confused. So finally, we are getting 157.6 kilowatt, which means now we come to the real challenge. The real challenge is if I have to design this thing. Look, solving and calculating is sometimes very easy, but as an engineer we may have to design something in real life. So that concept should be clear to us. Of course, help will be there, that manufacturing company and other, they will help us fabricate it, but the design has to come from the heat transfer engineer. So what design he is talking about? He is now telling that on surface number 1 we have to put a big heater. Why? Because it is from surface 1 we are giving most of the heat over here, and this is plus 157.6 kilowatt. This surface 1 is over here, surface 2 is bottom, and this is the side 1 is surface 3. Maybe I will show over here, side 1 is surface 3. How are we knowing this thing? That let me show in red ink over here. So then from surface 1, lot of radiation is actually coming to surface 2, which I am going to write like this. This is Q dot 12, and that value I already have over here, that is 15.8 kilowatt. Then lot of the energy is also going to surface 3 over here, and this value how much? So I will write it over here. Q dot 13 is 141.8, and this is also kilowatt, which means we add 15.8, 141.8, all that thing. So from the top there is, what it actually means is there must be some sort of a heater over here, huge heater somebody must have put, and that current that we are providing over here, then it is generating this much amount of heating inside over here. So if this is a furnace, either some fire is burning or some heater we are giving over there, and that top heater which is supplying heat, it is producing such high temperature of that particular surface. You see, 1000 Kelvin is very high temperature. Then it is radiating everywhere, to the bottom also, to the side also. So I will put that temperature also over here. So this temperature is 1000 Kelvin. Bottom temperature I think is, how much was bottom temperature? 800 Kelvin, and side temperature is 500 Kelvin. So this space I will leave over here. Let's jump to the next slide. Why? Because last one is remaining, Q dot 23. This we have not yet calculated. So this one also I can write very simple expression, A23 F23 sigma T to the power 4 T3 to the power 4. So here the only thing I will give is the values over here. This is 800 to the power 4, this is 500 to the power 4. You plug in it yourself using a calculator. Final answer will turn out to be a positive 52.5 kilowatt. You see what this is telling us, that even between surface 2 and 3, net rate of heat transfer is there. So remember this number 52.5. I go back to the previous slide. Now I am showing over here that even between surface 2 and surface 3, this is just what we have calculated over here. This value was 52.5. This is also kilowatt. Now we can do energy balance for surface 2 also, because why I am claiming to the student, now we know all the values, which means even for surface 2 also Q dot we have figured out. How? Maybe I will do it in small portion over here. How am I doing? Q dot 2 is simply Q dot 12 plus Q dot 23, or in other word I will write it as Q dot 21 and Q dot 23. What is Q dot 21? It is this with the minus sign. So minus 15.8. What is Q dot 23? That is in the plus sign, 52.5. If you add them together, what do I get? I get positive number 36.7 kilowatt. That I am writing over here, 36.7 0.7 kilowatt. Which means there is another heater over here. Even though I am showing in blue color, there is a heater here also. So, in this furnace there are two heaters. Powerful heater is on the top, because how we know it is powerful? It is providing 157 kilowatt. The next powerful heater is at the bottom, it is providing 36.7 kilowatt. And where is all this heat going from both the heaters? It is going through the side over here, because this side surface is the one which is taking away all the heat, and if you add these numbers together, we will get 141 plus 52, we get a minus sign over here first. Maybe I will write it over here, small number I will write, because I have small says. Q dot 3 will turn out to be minus 194.3 kilowatt. And how did they get Q dot 3? Q dot 3 is Q dot 3 to 1 plus Q dot 3 to 2. And how much is Q dot 3 to 1? It is reverse of Q dot 1 to 3. So, it is minus 141.8. What is 3 to 2? Whatever is from 2 to 3, reverse of that. So, minus, so this is this, plus minus 52.5. It turns out to be a very big number, 194.3 kilowatt. Have we solved all the Q dot? Let us go back and put some ticks over here. Now, we have solved Q dot 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1. It is a mouthful, we are saying so many Q dots. Do not remember any of that, just remember this graph and figure over here. This schematic shows everything, that there are three surfaces. Top surface, there is a big heater on the top, it is giving lot of heat, little bit of that is coming to surface 2 also. So, just imagine, even though surface 2 has a heater below it, it is still absorbing from the top heater. So, top heater is giving to bottom surface as well, and that whole together from the bottom surface also small heater, it combined together and goes to surface 3. So, if you go back to the slide over here, this is the direction of heat flow which is showing over here, from the top to bottom in the red over here, top to side over here, and from the bottom to the side as well. So, all directions, everything is clear. Then these big numbers over here, I am highlighting in the red background, red border. So, this clearly shows all these numbers together will also, so 157 we add 36, we will get 94. So, energy is also conserved, that whatever is energy we are giving from top heater, let us say 200 watt, from bottom heater we are giving 100 watt. So, 200, 100 together. So, all from the side surfaces, that is furnace, it has to dissipate 300 watts. So, that energy is also conserved. So, I think with that we have looked at very good example of heat transfer in black surfaces, not only just two surface, but three surface also we have looked at, and all the view factors that we have studied in the last lecture, and today we have made very good use of that view factor as well. So, I think with that we have done very good analysis in today's lecture. I would like to stop here now. Once we meet in next lecture, we will continue this, and we will try and see if these three surfaces, instead of being black, had they been gray or other properties with them, then particular problem, which makes it little more complicated, but it is still very, very interesting. So, with that I thank all the students. Thank you.